Hey, everybody. I want to take a minute and look at the Inspire database or the searching of the Inspire database. We talked about when we're searching for our sources that one of the biggest challenges is verifying the validity of a source. Like, is this a good source or not? And if you use a database search like Inspire, this is going to take a lot of that guesswork out of it because databases like this, they pre-screen the database sources that they use so that anything you find on here, you can feel pretty comfortable that it comes from a really valid, solid source. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't disagree with the information. You can be like, I don't like that, or that doesn't interpret the way that's not the way I interpret it. Maybe it took it a different direction or something. But the publisher, the source of that information, that's a really good source. And so I think that you can feel pretty confident in using that. But this is a free library database, research database that you can use. It's provided by the state of Indiana to all Indiana residents. Now, if you log on to this website here at school, it's going to log you straight in. You're not going to have any problems. If you are at home, depending on your web service provider and the way you connect and your devices, there's a lot of different options there. It might come up and say you can't verify your credentials. In that case, you'll just click on institutional login, and then it's going to take you to the Access Indiana website. There, you'll sign up for an account. You would use your school email account because it recognizes our school email as a Indiana institution. Walk through that process, and then it will create this login for you. But again, if you're using this here at school, you won't really have any difficulties with it. So I went in and logged into inspire.in.gov. Now, previously, you might have been told inspire.net. I know that I've used that terminology before. That will just redirect you to the in.gov. This is also the same website that you would use if you went down to the media center or if you went to one of the public libraries. They would get you to this. If you happen to be taking college classes or you go to college later on and you go to like USI, Ivy Tech, somewhere like that, and you use their library databases, it will look and act the same as this because it uses the same interfaces, and a lot of the databases that they access are going to be the same. So this is really going to give you a leg up. So what I did is I'm at the Inspire website, and I just typed in school start times. That was the topic that I was looking for that I've been using as our example. And then I'm just going to make sure it says Inspire here, and then I'm going to hit search. And this is what I'm going to get. It's going to go out, it's going to search, it's going to take just a second, and it's going to come back and give me the results of the things that it found. In this case, it found 8.2 million hits. Way too many for me to use, right? Way too many for me to use. I'm going to use these options down the left side to kind of limit my searches. Now, full text should be the default. This, you want to make sure it is checked because that will allow you to read the articles right here inside of Inspire. If that isn't checked, it will return results, but then you're going to have to go out and find that. So it'd be like the journal from the whatever magazine. You got to go out and find it somewhere else. You know it's there, but you got to find it. If it says full text, that means that you can read it right here inside of Inspire. Very, very helpful. I'm going to look at this here, 1790. So the earliest article they have under school start time is 1790, all the way up to it says 2023. I don't know how we're publishing stuff in the future, but that's kind of cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this from to 2000. Okay, now I can do whatever I want to with that. I can make it 1995, 1900. You can limit any way you want. Your end time could even be. So I want stuff from the 1950s through the 1990s. You can limit that any way you want to. Down here where it says filter by format, these are all the different types of sources that it found for me. It's going ahead and it's reloading here a little bit. These are the different types of sources that it found for me. It defaults to the all results, but let's say that I wanted to just be news sources. So this would be like newspapers, TV stations, things like that, okay? I can do any number of different things, academic journals, which is good. I think those are going to be really beneficial. They might be a little harder to read, but the information will be really solid. Magazines, trade, there's all kinds of different ones I'm going to use. I'm going to go back to the all results just for the purposes of what we're doing. And then it's going to give me these different articles that it found. Now, it does have these research starters. Some topics will have that. If you go into it, it kind of gives you an overview of the topic and some links and things. That's pretty handy to use, especially to get started. Here, you'll notice it says academic journal. So right here, it's going to give me the type of source that it is. So that if I'm trying to find things that may be a little easier to read, I'm looking if it says newspaper, magazine, something like that. This gives you your information. It also tells me that I can read this in HTML full text and PDF full text. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go in and take a look at this one, for instance. This actually is an article that I've used earlier for a different tutorial. And it walks me through, here's all the authors. And look at this. It even gives me their credentials, right? So that's kind of helpful. It tells me the source. It tells me where it came from, and that's academic journal written in English. It also then gives me this abstract. Now, an abstract is like a short bit of information. It just tells me what it's about. It's kind of the overview, if you will, the summary, if you will. It gives me the references that were used, and then some other information that it uses to catalog this source, right? And then here it is. And this is, I can just go through and I can read this article right here. This is the HTML full text, okay? And basically an HTML full text is just the text. It's basically a copy and paste. But let's say that I want to see what it originally looked like. So if I have the option for PDF, that's going to show me what it originally was printed as, how it originally looked. So I get the layout, I get the colors, I get the graphics. Let's see, does this one have any charts? See, this one has some charts and stuff that the HTML one didn't have, okay? Because that's just not a thing that HTML can do. So that gives me a lot of options there. This also detailed record allows me to go back to where I was to show me the original record of that source, okay? One other thing I want to point out to you too is this search terms. So a lot of times I think one of the challenges of finding sources is just knowing what to search for. Like, you know the thing you're looking for, but maybe it's worded a little bit differently than what you're wording it as, or you're just really struggling at finding a valid sources or really good information. If you find an article that like, this is really good, I really like this one, take a look at what search terms they used, and then see if you can kind of pick the term in there that they used to categorize this article, and you could do another search on that. Like right now, I can just click on this, and it would take me and it would give me a new search using those terms, right? So it's kind of helpful in that, like, maybe if I think this is working, repeat the search, but using their search terms. So this is really beneficial, really helpful for you to use. Now, at this point, you do have some options. First off, I can save this article. I'm going to skim through this article. First off, let's skim through the article. If you think it is something that's usable to you, you think it's something that you might be able to use, you have some options. First off is this Google Drive. And that will take this and create a copy of it in your Google Drive. It'll be a folder inside of your My Drive, and it's called EBSCO, EBSCO, and it will take and dump in a copy of this article for you. That's kind of handy if you want to be able to read it later, maybe help you find it really quickly or whatever, or if you're going to like print it off somewhere else later, right? Like you're going to go home or go to work or somewhere where you can print off really easily and quickly. I can print it. I can email it to myself. I could save a copy of it. Again, it'll do some other save options for you. I also have the option of this add to folder. Now, I am not. So if I click on this add to folder, see right here, it changed, right? I'm going to remove from folder. See, it's just an empty folder. Now it's got something in it. So if I were to go through and do all my sources, all my searching, and I go look around for stuff, and I can dump them all into my folder here, This would be really handy because then at the end, I can just select all. It gives me an option here to select all, and then I can print all of them at once. I can email them, save them. I can send them to wherever I want to all at once. It's really kind of handy, as you know, if I'm doing my search, doing my search, doing my search. Now, one thing that I will point out at this is that if you are not signed in, when you close this window, you will lose what's in your folder. Now, you can sign in. You can create a free Inspire uh, account. And actually, I think if you do the Access Indiana, it creates the account for you as well. And you can sign in. That means that anytime you're signed into EBSCO and you save stuff to your folder, you can access it. So you can log in, save, close, go home, open it up, log in, save, come back to school, print, whatever you want. It is a handy feature that you might be able to use. There's one other feature that I want to point out to you that will save you a ton of time. And that's this right here, the cite button. And let's say that this is an article that you like, okay? If I hit that cite button, it gives me all the different kind of citation options that it has. Here's APA, Chicago, Harvard. Here's MLA, which we're using. At this point, I can just take this, I can copy it and go into a Google Doc and paste it, and I'm starting my works cited page, right? This is super helpful because it does a lot of the work for you, right? Those works cited page, which is going to be the next step after you get all your sources. That's going to be the next step to do, is create that works cited page. This takes that step out of the way for you. Super handy. Now, I will point out to you that again, unless you are saving, you're logging in and saving these sources into your folder. If you wanted to come back and use this source again, you would have to go to your works cited page and either copy the title, in this case right here, or you could copy this DOI number and then do a search based on it. Okay, so I really just want to impress upon you one more time. The Inspire website, it is easy to use. It's intuitive. It's pretty straightforward. There's nothing really difficult about it. But that everything you find on here comes from a valid source. Okay, so it really takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. You don't have to go through and try to, well, who's the publisher, and is the publisher a real publisher, and are they really valid? And again, you can argue with the information. You don't have to take it just because it's on here. You can say, well, I want to find someone that says it better, differently, has a different point of view. That's great. But the sources on here, they're all valid. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. And again, this is the same interface that you will see at the public library, at our media center, at colleges and universities. So this is using this will give you a lot of access to a lot of sources. This is a great tool for you to use. And to be honest, if you didn't use anything else other than this, you're going to be fine. You're going to find everything that you need. Good luck and happy hunting.